My dear friends, Ahsoka episode 3 drops tomorrow. Today we're going to do a preview. We have some new frames from the teasers to break down. We're going to be talking about Anakin Skywalker, a few theories, a recap and so much more. But we're going to start with a couple of updates. When discussing his upcoming Star Wars movie that's going to be Mandalorian based, a continuation of Ahsoka and the Mandalorian, we don't know when it's going to be though, Dave Filoni rightly says that he's only going to use the volume if it fits, and when appropriate, a very reassuring response because we know the limitations of the volume, and when you're doing a fully fledged Star Wars movie, you want it to look a bit more cinematic, using on-location shoots, and the capabilities of the volume only when necessary. Dave has a sound comprehension of the way filmmaking works, so as a fan I am certainly reassured by his comments. So just a bit of news to start things off, a light appetizer, and now let's get into the preview, where we do have a couple of spoilers, but I will give you a spoiler warning when those come up. So here we go. Tomorrow we have Steph Green's second episode. She directed episode 2, and she's back again with the third episode, and she's not let us down so far. This upcoming one is expected to be the shortest of the entire series, but not to worry because episode 5 in 2 weeks' time is 49 minutes. There are plenty of long ones to come, and the quality is far more important than quantity. The season seems to be paced a certain way, and I don't think episode length has any bearing on the quality of storytelling. The most exciting thing about episode 3 is our heroes have set off on their big journey to find Ezra and Thrawn. Their first stop is Seatos, and eventually they will probably find their way to Peridia. We see Purgle in some of the trailers, so we know that pathway is coming, or at least some stops along the way. I don't think it's going to be that simple for them. Our villains, on the other hand, have the Eye of Sion ready. This show is leaving us with so many questions. We don't know what hurdles are going to be in front of the characters, but we do have a few clues as to what's coming up in the next handful of episodes. In a brand new teaser released by the official Star Wars social media accounts called Legacy, they basically give us an advert for the show, giving us some of the reviews, some of the clips we've already seen, but they cheekily snuck in one new frame. We don't know if this is going to be the next episode. I'm thinking it probably is, of Hera, Chopper, and the Ghost arriving on Seatos, the Stonehenge type area. Hera's got her blaster out, which makes me think there are still some HK-87s there. Baylan, Shin, and Morgan Elsbeth are ready to embark on the Eye of Sion, and I've got a feeling our main protagonists, along with our trusty friend Hayang, are trying to piece together some breadcrumbs. So our heroes arrive on the planet, and here is Hera, Chopper and the Ghost. Really exciting, because we know on the same planet in the Red Forest, a second lightsaber duel is going to take place between Ahsoka and Marok, but also Shin and Sabine. If we use our noggin and common sense, I think this takes place before anyone departs for Peridia. Maybe Ahsoka, Sabine, Hera and Chopper arrive, and our Force-sensitive villains sense them, and they face them head-on. And we also know, given the ending of episode 2, that Baylan is going to reluctantly fight Ahsoka, and we see that in the trailers too. The star map is activated, and Baylan fights Ahsoka presumably on Seatos. That's when he mentions Anakin Skywalker, and we're going to talk about Anakin in just a moment. I don't think there's going to be any so-called filler, just the pacing's been different depending on directors, the way the shows are written, the way they're produced, but with Ahsoka so far there's been a natural flow, and so we'd hope that when Professor Hayang said we're going to Seatos, that is literally our next destination in this series. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this new frame took me by surprise, and I've said in my full episode breakdown, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera Syndulla is fantastic. In the 2-episode premiere, we did see the Ghost in the background, but it was parked. We didn't see it flying in action. That was the Phantom too. But now, are we finally going to see Hera fly the Ghost? And maybe, as teased by the trailers, and of course the Lego leaks, see Jacen, her son, the son of the late greats Kanan Jarrus and Hera. Using my instincts and reaching out in the Force, I predict Ahsoka's gonna blow our minds, with all the mysticism, the Night Sister stuff, upcoming confrontations, and re-encounters with the same villains for more lightsaber duels, not to mention how it's all gonna come together when we see Thrawn, whenever that's gonna be. And speaking of familiar characters that we can't wait to see in this show, the new teaser Legacy also gives us the voice of Hayden Christensen as Anakin. They've done this already with a teaser trailer a few weeks ago, but they've done it again, teasing his impending appearance in some way, shape or form. They again use Kenobi footage, and Anakin says this: "I know you can do this, Ahsoka." And this Anakin reference is very appropriate because according to Bespin Bulletin, we know when Anakin's gonna appear in the show. Massive, Massive spoiler warning, but according to a new report, they say Anakin is going to feature predominantly in episode 5. They reiterate the fact the Vader crew for the Kenobi series was reassembled for Ahsoka as well, so there could be Vader and Anakin flashbacks. But the specifics are unknown. We know about the Mustafar sequence, the dream sequence. We don't know if that's going to be a vision, the world between worlds, or otherwise. But either way, they're saying Anakin appears in episode 5, so in 2 weeks' time. Just to know Hayden Christensen is back once again and is going to interact with his Padawan, either in Clone Wars flashbacks or in the present day as a Force ghost. Who knows what other surprises Dave Filoni has for episode 5, that is the second one he's directing. Now going into episode 3, with Ahsoka and Sabine embarking on this journey, there is one question on the minds of all keen-eyed fans. What is to become of Sabine's Loth cat? She just left it behind, or so we think. Maybe it's already in the T6 shuttle, or perhaps Sabine trusted Ryder Azadi to look after it. These things are more adorable than I ever would have thought for live action. I'm glad they didn't go with the Mando Season 1 design. I must admit, as someone who watched Star Wars Rebels religiously only a few years ago, Ahsoka so far is remarkably faithful to that series. Setting aside minor differences, such as no Ahsoka the White in the Lothal mural scene, Dave Filoni has gone to great lengths to bring the world of animation to life, and he did so well for Lothal. In fact, I urge you to go back and rewatch the last episode of Rebels and then watch Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. As far as being a Star Wars Rebels fanatic goes, it is a transcendental experience, trust me. And there is still so much to come. We are still yet to see Thrawn, and there are some nervous feelings amongst the Timothy Zahn faithful about the role he's going to play as a villain rather than an anti-hero. But considering Zahn consulted on the show, we've just got to make peace with what they're going to give us. Because when you're talking about Thrawn being sent through hyperspace by the Purgle at the end of Rebels with Ezra, ending up in a second galaxy known as Peridia and setting up base there, and then making the best of the situation, we don't know if he's ditched the Chimera, but he's definitely re-establishing himself ready to go back to the known galaxy, presumably with an army from this ancient civilization, and he's trying to accumulate as much power as possible. That to me sounds like a villain, but I suspect there could be a big plot twist that he's not doing it for the reasons we assume. There might be a threat, such as the Yuuzhan Vong, or more likely the Grisk, something that threatens him and the known galaxy, something he might be warning about, so it could just be all misleading and he might have his justifications, and this would inadvertently restore and resume his status as anti-hero. But even fans of Thrawn, even fans of Heir to the Empire or the canon books, disagree on his motives. I've read and heard tons of debates about the character and how to best categorize him in terms of modern fiction, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So just a day to go, super excited for more Steph Green Star Wars and what the third episode's gonna hold. As always, look out for my full episode breakdown. I will review it and we'll talk about it in depth. If you enjoyed this video, my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.